All right, man, peace. So, brothers, I believe that I've been relatively consistent in the way in which I appraise who, in my view, should be the winner of the NBA MVP award. I've always stated that since I've been watching basketball, the NBA MVP award usually goes to the player having a transcendent season on a team that either has the best record in the NBA or the second best record in the NBA or somewhere in that realm, like top three teams, and their best player, if he's having a standout season, gets the MVP award. Every once in a while you have a little hiccup when it comes to that understanding of who should get the award. Like Russell Westbrook, he was the recipient of the 2017 NBA Most Valuable Player award, but he did something that had not been done since Oscar Robertson well over 50 years prior. So that was understandable. This season, without a doubt in my mind, it should go to Giannis Antetokounmpo. But every once in a while people forget, because of the level of spectacle that another player can emit. They can become bedazzled by the level of spectacle. And I think that is what is going to happen this season if Giannis does not understand that he himself has to have a couple of 50-point games in the last 10 games or so of the season. If someone does not make him understand that, he will lose the MVP award. Because one of Giannis's number one proponents, Max Kellerman, who's been on the Giannis will be the best player in the NBA within the next 2 years train. I mean, really, he's been the engineer on that train. Max Kellerman was talking about this a couple years ago, how he believed that Giannis was going to be the best player in the NBA within the next 2 years. And now I can see it as well. Well, even he has jumped off of the Giannis for MVP bandwagon this year and has decided to change over to James Harden. So that does not bode well for Giannis Antetokounmpo and his MVP aspirations. So he better step it up over the course of these last 10 games. But anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
You know whose percentages were all right last night, guys? James Harden. Dropped 57 last night against Memphis. Max Kellerman. I know you're on the Giannis train, but are you starting to rethink that after another 50-point performance from the Beard?
He shouldn't be, because once again, not only is Giannis having a better all-around offensive season than James Harden, he's been the number one defensive player in the NBA for this entire season.
Oh, you think I'm like Stephen A. Smith, huh? Talking Thunder the whole year, and then at the last second, oh, I'm not so sure about the Thunder anymore when I've been on the Rockets, right? Yep. You think I'm going to pull a Stephen A. Smith?
I do.
You're absolutely right. You know me too well. Yeah, I'm having second thoughts about the Greek Freak as MVP at this point.
Well, you shouldn't.
What James Harden is doing, what I can't get over, guys, is...
What James Harden is doing as a scorer is unbelievable. It really is. It's great. And if they had an Offensive Player of the Year award, he should win that. But once again, Giannis is even having a better year than James Harden offensively. His PER is higher than James Harden's. So I have to give the edge for NBA MVP to Giannis because defense is not even a comparison. And then on top of that, Milwaukee has the best record in the National Basketball Association.
Is at this time of the season, 3 games and 4 nights all on the road, second of back-to-back on the road. You've been carrying the load all year, unlike anything we've seen in the modern era. Because when Chris Paul and Clint Capella are out, the whole team is relying on Harden. Of course, Eric Gordon can play.
Well, I can't quite agree with that. Kobe Bryant, he carried an equivalent level back in the 2006 season when he averaged about 35 a game. So we've seen things along these lines in the near past.
And you know, but Harden's the whole engine. And he averaged what he averaged night in and night out in the winning cause. And then even last night, they lose by a single possession, 3rd game in 4 nights, second of back-to-back on the road. And the man drops 57 points. I would be lying to you if I sat up here and said, just because I've been taking the Greek Freak the whole year, that I don't have second thoughts. At this moment, it is tough to argue against James Harden.
No, it's really not. Milwaukee has the better record. Giannis has had the better offensive and defensive seasons. I mean, come on, man.
Well, I'm glad you've seen the light, but I will tell you this. The only thing that I have against James Harden is the fact that he made me shoot 3-pointers with my shirt and tie on.
Yeah, he made you shoot 3-pointers in the gym with your shirt and tie on, and that's the reason why you shot 1 for 55 from 3-point land, right, Stephen A. Smith? The fact of the matter is that you were a Division 5 basketball player in college who sat at the end of the bench. You were the part-time mascot. You also parked cars before the game. So knock it off, man.
Would have let me warm up and then
do it again and redeem yourself for everybody.
I agree, Molly. If the reason why you shot so poorly is because you didn't warm up, do it again. Let's see if you can make even 10% of your shots next time.
Videotaped me shooting like 1 for 15 from 3-point range.
You mean 1 for 50? 1 for 5? Oh, that's what you shot.
Range and taped it and sent it out on social media. That's the only thing I got against James Harden. He set me up. He set me up and told.
No, your ugly ass jump shot set you up. You should have started your own construction company with all them bricks you was throwing up there.
Told me he was going to do it, and I deserved it. No question about it. He said, somebody that talk as much smack as you don't need to be warming up. Hell no. Get out there and shoot. It was
Agreed. Good for you, James Harden.
It was embarrassing, to say the least. Having said all of that.
Great video, though.
Having said all of that. Yeah, it was. Having said all that, I did look smooth in the black, too. In the black. I was missing shots, but I looked smooth.
You remember?
Look smooth. Stephen A. Smith, you have the body of a Christmas turkey.
Remember your outfit?
Oh my
God.
That's right.
You're one of a kind.
I remember the outfit when I'm doing like I'm on a golf course, Max, and I'm swinging them golf clubs because we know I'm gonna hit somebody's window. If there's a house on the golf course, okay? I'm gonna hit somebody's window, so at least I look good
but
doing it.
All right, that's what the outfit was clean.
But let me say this about James Harden. I'm happy for this brother because.
So am I, because this is going to be his consolation prize, and I've mentioned this before. Somewhere in his subconscious, as well as Russell Westbrook's subconscious, they know that they're probably never going to win a championship, so they have to establish their legacy in some other type of way. For James Harden, he knows that his legacy is going to be points scored. For Russell Westbrook, his legacy is going to be triple doubles attained. They understand this very well, and I don't blame them. But that's why I've always stated that I liken them to a LeBron James. You know, they're definitely within that player archetype. Handle the ball at the top of the key, distribute, shoot whenever they want, dominate the offense, stat pad. That's what they do.
I think he's going to win the league MVP again. He'd get my vote today. He's the MVP. Last year, down to the wire, it was such a huge thing between him and Westbrook and these other guys. And it was like...
You mean 2 years ago, not last year. Last year, Harden was the runaway MVP award winner. Everybody knew he was going to get it last year.
Like, come on. You know, year before that, Westbrook got it instead of him. James Harden has averaged 25 or better per game since he has arrived in Houston. And over the last 4 years, he's averaged 29. This brother's on another level. Make no mistake about it.
Well, they've definitely tuned him all the way up. He's playing about as well as he could play. There's no doubt about that.
He's the real deal. He's absolutely sensational. There is no question to me. The Greek Freak, again, if Chris Paul, Clint Capella, Eric Gordon didn't go down, and he wasn't playing in a system like, D'Antoni, that would be different. But to have to carry the load that he has had to carry, and you look at Milwaukee on the other hand with the Greek Freak,
see now.
Budenholzer.
By the way, that's why it's not over, Stephen A. It's not over because we'll see now.
Right, but Atlanta had Budenholzer last year. They didn't do shit last year. You have to give the Greek Freak credit, man. You just can't take the award away from him because James Harden is allowed to take 40 shots a game.
Now, Mirotic goes down. Brogdon is down. Let's see what happens now. They're still fighting for the best record in basketball, let alone in the Eastern Conference.
Once again, Giannis, you better have a couple of 50-point games in these last 10 or 11 games. However many games the Bucks have left, you better have a couple of 50-point games, man, because they're trying to steal your award.
Let's see if the Greek Freak can keep this team going without key contributors. I'll say this.
I think that he will.
Can we see that graphic again, please? Greek Freak versus Harden. I want to show you something, Stephen A. This is another reason I think it's not over.
It's definitely not over. Right now, Harden's making his final push because he understands a little bit better than Giannis how these judges, these voters, are going to be evaluating the season. He knows that people, they just totally get discombobulated whenever you have a huge scoring output.
Look at this. Actually, PER, which is mainly an offensive statistic, it's about how efficient you are offensively. The Greek Freak is ahead of Harden in a primarily offensive statistic. And yes, Harden has almost 10 points more, but the Greek Freak has 6 boards more. Like, statistics.
Harden should have almost 10 points more. How many more shots per game is he taking?
Statistically, offensively, you can still make an argument on offense that it's Antetokounmpo. And defensively, as good as Harden's been playing by his standards, as well as the Greek Freak, it's no comparison.
Max, let me just
say this.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If LeBron James were in the Eastern Conference, stay with me because I'm going somewhere. If LeBron James was in the Eastern Conference, quick answer. Where would Cleveland be if LeBron James was still in Cleveland?
If LeBron James was in Cleveland this season, the Cavaliers would probably be somewhere around a 5th or 6th seed.
They would be in the playoffs. They would be in the playoffs.
Where are the Lakers now with him?
They're out of the playoffs, but remember, he's been injured for a certain portion of time this season, as well as the fact that he helped to detonate his own team with the outward courtship of Anthony Davis.
Out of the playoffs.
So I'm looking at the West and the East, and I'm taking that into consideration too.
Well, that's not quite fair to Giannis because, once again, they were slightly above 500 last season. They're on a pace this year to win in the upper 50s, maybe even 60 games. And in order for you to make that comparison, you would have to evaluate what the Milwaukee Bucks record is against many of the better or playoff teams in the Western Conference. You can't use a LeBron James argument. That's a red herring. We're comparing James Harden to the Greek Freak.
Okay, I understand that. I want to say one last thing about this. The reason I have Harden neck and neck, maybe taking the lead now with the Greek Freak, is not just about what I said about Harden. I saw Antetokounmpo go up against Joel Embiid, who is asserting himself in the Eastern Conference right now. And when those two were matched up with each other, the Greek Freak couldn't do anything with Embiid.
Yeah, all he did was score 52 points. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? The man scored 52 points against the Philadelphia 76ers.
So even though Antetokounmpo had better counting numbers by the end of the game, Embiid got him. And
Embiid had the better team. He had the more talented team. Giannis did not have Brogdon in that game. Milwaukee is the type of team, they need all hands on deck because they don't have the amount of stars or superstars that many of these other teams have. They need to have Brogdon on the floor. They need to have Bledsoe on the floor. They need Middleton on the floor in order for them to win. They have a slew of good NBA players. But when you compare them to the Philadelphia 76ers starting lineup, I mean, Philadelphia arguably has the best and most talented starting lineup in the NBA, including Golden State. They're right there with Golden State when it comes to talent on their starting five.
Embiid's team won. And when I see stuff like that in a close race, that stuff matters to me. So if they now, without Mirotic and Brogdon, let's see what happens the rest of the way. I think it's a very tight MVP race.
Yeah. Who cares about the regular season? I want to see these guys be MVPs in the playoffs.
Right.
I agree, that's very important. But once again, Greek Freak, you better step it up these last few games, bro, if you want that MVP award, because they're all ready to hand it to Harden. But anyway, peace.